All 8 missing service members now identified, and we are learning more about the brave lives lost in that training accident and what comes next. One Spring Valley neighborhood left with a huge mess after a hit-and-run driver plowed through it, leaving a trail of destruction behind. And the latest on the fire raging in Riverside County as San Diego crews pitch in to take it on. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
We are learning more about the 8 missing service members now presumed dead. They have now all been identified by the military. I'm Virginia Cha. 9 service members in all were lost during a military training exercise that went horribly wrong last week. ABC 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie has the latest as families begin to cope with the unimaginable loss and try to raise money for funerals and other expenses.
Corporal Wesley Rod was just 23 years old and a new dad from Texas, pictured on a GoFundMe page that's raised roughly $25,000 for his wife. Images with his new baby, bringing home the reality of military sacrifice.
We never thought that this would happen, but you know what? He told us months ago that if anything like this were to happen, this is what he signed up for.
The aunt of one of the 2 injured Marines who was rescued Thursday evening says her nephew Dallas was given CPR, saved from drowning. They realize how lucky they are that Dallas survived and say they're grateful to people here in San Diego who've already rallied in support.
People have brought meals, they've called, they've texted, they literally sat with them and held their hand while they cried.
9 families are now mourning the loss of loved ones, those now presumed dead. Of those 4 were from California, others from Wisconsin, Oregon, and Texas. These were all young men, 19 to 23 years old.
It's pretty difficult to lose your family, and they are family.
Also among them, 19-year-old Lance Corporal Chase Sweetwood of Portland. A GoFundMe page in his name is raising money to help his mother travel here to bury her son. Late Saturday night, military officials announced the rescue effort to find the missing 7 Marines and 1 sailor had ended, and a recovery mission was underway, fearing the members of the 15th MEU passed away after their amphibious assault vehicle sank Thursday evening. 1,000 nautical mile search was conducted, turning up empty. The Navy says a full investigation will be launched to find out what happened. The search to recover them underway today. Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.
Well, we have a follow-up to a story we first had as breaking news this morning. A driver now under arrest after slamming into several parked cars in Spring Valley, knocking over a fire hydrant. The gushing water flooded some of that neighborhood. ABC 10 News reporter Jared Aaron shows us how the damage affected more than just the people who live there.
Water poured into the sky, down the street, even downstairs after a driver destroyed cars and hit a fire hydrant in Spring Valley Monday. Police arrested the driver of this truck who crawled out of the wreckage and tried to run away. Neighbors looked at the damage in shock.
My roommate heard it. I thought it was an earthquake. I didn't even get up. So my roommate came and said, "Jonathan, somebody hit your car." I come outside, this was nothing.
In daylight, debris still cluttered the street, dirt everywhere. Crews cleaned rooms at the Mount Miguel Covenant Church, where the daycare bore the brunt of the damage.
As you can see, like the floor, the carpet as well is pretty wet. The wall, there's like dripping water from the upstairs, from the fellowship hall from the church.
Sally Gutierrez runs the daycare. It reopened from the coronavirus pandemic in May and planned to start a new school year in September. Now, with classrooms closed again and sandboxes turned to mud, the families that bring their kids must scramble to find a solution, all because of one reckless driver.
That car that crashed, I mean, it affected so many other of the neighbors, but it affected as well as the preschool. And
to give you some perspective on the force of all that water, it cut a canyon through the hillside, coming all the way from a block away, carrying water and debris for more than a block. Look, this windshield from a car all the way down at the bottom of this hill, and some of the water even flowed into the backyard of these houses, damaging their property. In Spring Valley, Jared Aarons, ABC 10 News.
Well, the Sweetwater Union High School District virtually sending their kids back to school today. The district handed out laptops and tablets to any student who needed one and set up instructions on their website to try to make sure everyone stays connected. Each student in 3 classes a day with just 30 to 45 minutes of virtual FaceTime with their teachers. The rest of their time will be spent with independent study. The district plans to continue distance learning through at least October 2nd. Sweetwater Union High School back to school today, other districts later this month. Parents and children have been preparing for this school year like no other. And to help, ABC 10 News is asking experts questions viewers have about navigating some of the challenges that come with this pandemic. Today, we talked to Dr. Abby Olalade about keeping children healthy, and she pointed out that they can be just as susceptible as adults to situations that spread the virus, which is why so many schools are putting safety first.
Kids, of course, talk and they laugh when they're in class. They may be singing. All the things that they do as part of their learning can potentially transmit it to their teachers.
Dr. Olalade recommends children wear masks and wash their hands frequently and properly. She says it's important for parents to talk to their kids about this situation and how to stay healthy, but also that there are things you can do to turn daily hygiene into lighthearted activities. For more information on our interview with Dr. Olalade and everything else that you need to figure out how to navigate this, just check out the Safely Back to School section on 10news.com. Around the world, more than 18 million people have now tested positive for the virus that causes COVID-19. ABC's Trevor Ault explains how here in the U.S., health officials are urging Americans to take necessary precautions, as the CDC predicts nearly 30,000 more Americans could die in the next 3 weeks.
With 4.6 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the U.S., a sobering message from White House Coronavirus Task Force Dr. Deborah Birx.
What we're seeing today is different from March and April. It is extraordinarily widespread.
With hospitalizations on the rise in 2/3 of the United States and daily deaths climbing in 36 states and Puerto Rico, the CDC is now predicting the number of lives lost to the virus in America could cross 180,000 in less than 3 weeks.
Everyone who walks around refusing to wear a mask, or who hosts an indoor house party, or who overstuffs a boat is directly contributing to these increases.
As the battle over schools rages on, Louisiana announcing that of the nearly 3,500 new cases reported since Friday, 10% are children under the age of 18 and 33% are between 18 and 29 years old. Already, several school districts have reported students testing positive within the first week or even first day back in the classroom.
I think we've been a little cavalier about this and have sort of assumed that kids are fine and they don't spread at all or they don't get infected very often. I think we're seeing data that suggests that that may not be true.
The virus is also claiming the livelihoods of many Americans. Lynette Hale ran a daycare in Colorado. She says COVID cleared out business and she can no longer afford her home.
I'm 70 years old and I'm about to be on the street.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Today on Capitol Hill, Republicans and Democrats are negotiating a new economic relief package, but a sticking point is the $600 weekly unemployment check that Republicans want reduced, saying in some cases it pays people more to stay home. Democrats say cutting that check to $200 would abandon struggling Americans. The Senate is scheduled for a month-long recess at the end of the week. Pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly has announced they're in the final stage of testing what are called monoclonal antibodies, which they hope could provide short-term immunity to the virus for patients. It could provide somewhat of a bridge until a vaccine is available. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
And as cases in California continue to rise, we will be getting another update from the governor. He is expected to speak at noon, and we will carry that live right here on ABC 10 News. Well, this morning, county leaders are pushing back against the Sheriff's Department to privatize health care within county jails. The Sheriff's Department is considering using a third party for health and mental care, but County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says hiring outside help could make health care worse.
I don't believe we need a system designed to limit care to maximize profits. We need a system designed to get the best outcomes. That is not only right for those individuals who are in our care, that is right for the taxpayers of San Diego County.
Critics of the plan to privatize healthcare in jails say it could cost local jobs. They instead want the San Diego Department of Health and Human Services to oversee healthcare. Well, the sheriff just moments ago issued a lengthy response to Fletcher's plan and assertions about local detention facilities. And along with refuting numerous claims by Supervisor Fletcher, Sheriff Bill Gore said the County Board of Supervisors does not have the authority to take over control of inmate healthcare. That responsibility, Gore said, rests with him. We are going to have more on this, including on the sheriff's response on later editions of 10 News. Now to the latest on the Apple fire burning out of control in Riverside County. That fire sparked on Friday. It is still burning strong. This morning, CAL FIRE estimating that fire has scorched more than 26,000 acres. They say it's only 5% contained. Mandatory evacuation orders are in place for about 8,000 people, some of them scrambling to find a safe place to stay overnight.
We had a lot of trouble finding a place to stay last night because of so many people being evacuated at the same time. So me and the baby kind of stayed in the car last night.
Fire investigators say this could be a case of arson. Meanwhile, multiple local fire agencies here are helping the crews in Riverside County battle that fire. CAL FIRE San Diego's Isaac Sanchez says the flames have been relentless and crews on the ground need all the help they can get.
No one agency, regardless of their size, can handle an incident of this nature, of this size and complexity. Everybody's on deck, everybody is contributing, and everybody is engaged right now.
The local crews up there are from San Diego Fire, Poway, Coronado, and North County, just to name a few. Sanchez says allocating resources is carefully calculated, so even if local crews are away helping other communities, crews here are still ready in case of a fire here.